What is your greatest hardship? We are back here again at Syracuse University asking students this very question with the intention of seeing the different perspectives of people who have been through tough times of their own. I have found in my life that the greatest periods of transformation have preceded tough times. Periods of deep suffering in my life that have forced me to radically reform and become a different human being as a result of that. And so as I go out here and do these interviews, what I want to do is to shine a light on how people relate to their tough times. I want to know the positives, how they've grown from it, but even more importantly, what are some things that you might be holding onto as a result of a past experience that has been a hardship? Because awareness over these things are so powerful. I'm going to pop back into this video periodically to share my wisdom on facing hardship, tough times. But for now, let's get into the meat of the video and get talking to people for these interviews. What's your name and what's your major?
My name is Sushmita and I'm majoring in political science.
My name's Ian. I'm an econ major.
Odian, Idoro, and finance.
Hi, I'm Caden. I am a biology major and a senior.
I'm Isabella. I'm a Tier F major. I'm minoring in poli-sci.
My name is Nagaraju. People call me here Nag. And I'm doing my executive master's in information systems here at SU.
Hi, my name is Kanaya. I'm a neuroscience and psychology major on the pre-med track.
My name is Finan Omari. My major is business management, women.
What is the greatest hardship you've had to overcome?
Mental health challenges, like just trying to be sane over like the school year.
What's been the hardest period where you've had to tackle that, would you say?
Probably high school, but like it gets better when you're like in college because it's like you're surrounded by people. So yeah.
What was so difficult about it, would you say? Like balancing doing your work and everything, like keeping your mind in the right place, or would it be something else, would you say?
Yeah, kind of just balancing like the two, focusing on one but also like having to go back to the other.
I think learning how to be independent, because I come from a very sheltered home, so coming to Syracuse made me like be more independent.
What specific period was it? Was it being in college, would you say?
Yeah, being in college.
What was it the most hard part about that, would you say, during that time specifically?
I think learning how to make friends, especially in a very non-diverse area, so finding your own community was like, yeah.
I'd say dealing with COVID, just like going through like transitioning from high school to college and like dealing with like online classes and how to manage my time. That's been like a good hardship that I've dealt with.
Well, what about it was most challenging for you, you'd say?
Just time management, learning how to like what works for me, like just learning about career goals, like switching and like seeing that like not everything has to be rushed, that everything can be taken slow and on its time, and that learning that not everything has to be like at a go, and that like you can just take things at like the moment and like just stay in the present.
Yeah. Was there ever a point during it where it was like, oh fuck, this is like horrible?
I'd say getting here when there was no one here. I'd say that was hard. Like just like trying to like navigate with like not a lot of resources open. So like just navigating being a freshman with like a limited experience. So that was like a moment where I was like, okay, I need to take a minute, learn how to deal with this, and just like go by like day by day instead of just like trying to like deal with everything all at once. So that was like one moment.
Because like no one was here?
Yeah, no one was here. It was like not a lot of people, and like slowly more people came in by like the end of like the year.
I feel like coming here to Syracuse, you know, overcoming all these adversities, you know, back home, you know, but we finally made it, you know, and now we just got to get through these years and we out, you know.
What specifically about SU has it been?
Goddamn, I don't know, bro. I think I'm giving you shit answers. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it the school, like managing life, or it's like balancing stuff? Would you say?
Coming here, you got to really learn how to time manage. You got a lot of things that you're dealing with, especially as you get older. So those are just some things to prepare for, I guess, as you go through life here at Syracuse.
I would say overcoming like depression and anxiety when I was like in middle school. Especially like when I was like 13. I feel like mental health is like taboo for like some people, but I feel like it has to be like so like more normalized, more talked about. I would say like overcoming my mental health struggles that like I now like know how to deal with. Yeah.
What was the hardest part about that time, would you say?
I would say like still having like to go to class. Like I did not want to go to class because I was like sad. Like I didn't want to do anything. It was really like debilitating, but I still had to like do homework and stuff. And that was like a really like big struggle because like my parents like were like, well, why are you like so like depressed? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Like you tell me. Like I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, I would say like schoolwork. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're able to deal with it now. How did you overcome it? What was that process
Oh
like?
my God, like therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy is really good. Talking about it's really good with like friends and family. Yeah.
Was there specific therapy? Because I remember I did group when I first started.
Just like psychotherapy. So like I was like on meds and stuff. But therapy helped a lot.
What?
Talking about it helps a lot. Yeah.
What is it about talking about it that feels healing to you, would you say?
Because I feel like it's so easy to like bottle things up and like not express them because you either don't know how to or you either feel like you don't think people will care about your feelings. But talking about it with someone who like cares about you and like is there for you is way much easier because you feel like they can help you and understand you.
So if I have to talk about the hardest part, living my family, my 3-year-old kid in India. I'm doing my master's here. I have to spend another 1.5 years. So I feel that's the toughest part. But apart from that, working on a project and getting hold of things with the other candidates, even that is challenging, but I'm able to cope up. But the toughest part is missing my family and my kid.
At the worst of it, how have you overcome and worked through that?
To overcome it, I have developed a new habit of learning new thing. I'm learning Spanish. So it's been like 3 weeks. I'm really making good progress. Now I'm able to understand pretty good conversations. And I'm able to talk to people, whoever I encounter at the university. So basic conversations, hola.
Yeah. And going back to like your family, I was in Masters in Computer Science, so I had a lot of international students, and a big thing for them was like missing their family, kind of similar to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
When you're really missing them, how do you like process that? 'Cause that's something that's really difficult.
So as I mentioned, if you're sitting idle, idle brain is a devil's workshop, I believe. So don't sit idle. If you're missing something, if you are missing your family, do something or the other to at least to get rid of that kind of loneliness feeling.
Yeah.
And whenever you get a time, whenever it's the right time for your family to get on a call, talk to them, and that makes you feel happy.
Well, what is that experience like when you hop on the call, when you see them again? What is that like? Explain that. Describe it.
It's like, I talk to my 3-year-old daughter. She's a pretty good girl. And I call her a child prodigy because she talks to me in English. So she's like, while I was coming to United States, I told her a story that I'm going to meet Peppa Pig at US. So when I'm going to get her here to United States, I'm definitely going to make her to a Peppa Pig's friend. So every time when I call her on a video, she asks me to show Peppa Pig and
Where's
Mr.
Peppa?
Potato. Yeah, that's right.
You get a little cardboard, and it's like
That's
"There's
right.
Peppa."
Yeah, that's right. That's the stuff which I do. And again, as soon as I'm done with the call, it's pretty tough to overcome it. But that's the best I can do. I'm here for a reason, to give a better life to my daughter. So whenever you feel low, just think of a situation what made you take this decision, and it'll ignite your energy.
Failing my first exam and still getting back up to study and like stay resilient through everything that I had to go through to finish the class with a good enough grade. And that's not even like the hardest class. So had I given up back then, it would have been like, dang.
You're like a good student usually. Would you identify as?
Yeah, usually I'm like a high achiever, so it was rough.
What do you think drives you in that, like the high achiever?
I think the end goal drives me more than anything, and knowing that most things are temporary. Like pain is temporary, so just like if I push through the pain, like I can reap all the benefits later.
And that moment specifically, what made you pick that? Like what drew you to saying that was the hardest? Like what made it suck the most?
I think because it was the very beginning of me having to have a growth mindset, and it's always the worst when that's not something you're used to doing, but you have to force yourself to do it and you don't know how yet. So
How did you overcome it?
I overcame it. Honestly, it sounds corny, but changing my mindset. Like, one failure does not mean that you're going to fail for the rest of your life. It just means you have to grow and do something different the next time. And that's life. It's all about growth and change.
And you said growth mindset in particular, and that I found to be very powerful.
Yeah.
Did you learn that? Where did you learn that from specifically?
I learned it by watching TED Talks. I'm a TED Talk person.
I knew it.
I sit and watch TED Talks for fun. I know it sounds boring, but really I do watch TED Talks for fun. And I came across a TED Talk about the growth mindset one day, and I was like, okay, let me try this. And it actually worked.
Is that your favorite?
It's one of my favorites.
What's number one?
The one that's my favorite, it's a TED Talk about neurogenesis, and I thought that was so cool because I'm like, wow, they explained it so simply.
That was first semester, making friends.
Then you're a freshman now, right?
I'm a freshman right now. It's my second semester. It's pretty cool that I haven't made a lot of friends this second semester, but first semester was kind of awful because I hadn't a lot of friends.
Yeah. What about it was difficult, would you say? What are like some specific things that came up?
Just like getting to know people, new peoples that you don't know. Yeah.
What's difficult about that, would you say?
I feel like getting from your comfort zone, that's the toughest thing. But after 1 month or after one semester, you're just gonna know it. You're gonna come over it.
How did you work through it to get through that time? What helped you the most?
Well, connection with people. I don't talk that much to people, but I have like a friend who's like sophomores, juniors. If you have this kind of people, they'll help you getting connection with other people too. Yeah. So just like get someone's like older than you, like sophomore, freshman, or senior. They'll help you. That's what I have.
What is it about that when you connect with someone who's more wise, who's more experienced? What does that feel like?
Feel like that you're getting it. You feel like you're getting there. You know, something you're making different every day when you have like older people than you.
So as we're doing these interviews, like something that's really sticking out to me is kind of like the emotional component of facing the feelings of what you're dealing with, like self-worth, not having the connection that you really have, like with your family and your friends. And it's just really, it's sticking out to me as always, like having a way to relate to the struggle itself, because like it's not really so much about the pain that you feel in your heart, but rather, how do I relate to this? Like, do I want this to go away? Do I want this to stop? Because it's easy to think of yourself as a victim. You can't do anything. You have no sense of agency or control over your life. But really, like I love hearing these things from people because they're looking consciously for a way to face it. Even if they might not be being perfect, they acknowledge and look for what is the solution? How can I deal with this in the best way that I can? So, like whatever it is coming up for you, thinking about that for yourself, because it's all about the belief. Like there are some situations that are sucky and you can't get out of it, and that's the reality of it. But I would wager, no matter what it is, having the belief, even if it might be a little delusional, that you can find a way to approach it in a healthy, conscious, and constructive manner. The toughest of times, what would you say are the negative impacts you may have left as a result of going through it?
I think not able to speak up in certain times in like classes or like in general, but it took time for me to grow. So
just like getting out of your comfort zone, things like that.
Out of my comfort zone.
I say rushing into things, whether it was like clubs or certain stuff, just not like thinking like, do I actually want to do this? Am I just doing this because like you're supposed to do it? Just like not doing things for me, but just like doing for like it looks good. So like just doing stuff that wasn't like for me during like that time.
What do you think was it about that led you to doing that? Is like kind of just appearances or like trying to please? What was it?
Appearances and pleasing an idea of like what a student should be, and like what having like limited resources is just like trying to like get that done, and just like looking as like a better self in a way. It's like just something like that.
Honestly, I don't think there are any negative impacts. I think going through that, it's just kind of a learning process that everyone has to go through.
I mean, I never, I guess, healed from it. I mean, like, yes, but, like, no, because, like, I deal with it, like, day to day, but, like, now I know how to control, like, now I know, like, what I'm dealing with. Yes, it's way more, like, regulated now, but I feel like like I still like struggle with like mental health sometimes, but it's like way less what it was then. It's like way more like I know like how to like deal with it now, and like what to do, what resources to look for when I know when I'm reaching a point of like depression. Like, but then I did not know like what I was going with, but now I like know like what to do.
On a day when you really feel shitty, what really like heals you and really it feels like the best form of care for yourself when you're going through that?
Honestly, being around people that care about you. Like being around people that care about you and you know are there for you is like the best way to like deal with anything.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with like people that surround yourself with people who like you either like see yourself be, I don't know how to say like
are you trying
like,
to say like that align with your
yes,
values?
Yes, that align with you, your values, that help you grow, because at the end of the day it's kind of like whoever you surround yourself with is like who you are really.
I think the negative results, it kind of like makes you feel like you're not doing enough, or making you feel like you're not enough, especially when you attach your self-worth to grades or, you know, achievements. Like it can be a very degrading process. That's why you have to learn to separate like your setbacks and maybe even your failures from your achievements and where you're trying to go.
What empowering qualities have resulted from this difficult time, would you say?
Helps you be able to deal with things better, like like overcome things way easier.
Honestly, it comes down to, for me, getting your shit together, you know, getting all your shit done, doing things on time. You really just gotta be moving 24/7 to get to where you want to be.
I think learning how to grow up as a person, even as a student as well. I think learning to speak up for myself helped me to be more independent, more social, and more vocal about like certain topics in classes.
I say just listening within, learning to just like listen to like how myself is doing, like what I want more than like what others want, and just like seeing like does this benefit me or would this benefit someone else, and just learning to like see like where any choice could land, and just like seeing like how that can grow from that if I did or did not do like something.
Was there ever a moment where you did that and you felt like, oh wow, I really like learned from it?
A lot of times.
What would you say is a specific moment when that happened?
I would say like doing research. At first I was like, oh, I should do research like early, but like rushing into that, I feel like when I started doing research like later, like my mid sophomore year, I learned that like I was like ready for it than like if I jumped into it like freshman year. So just like learning that like doing stuff like when you're ready is better than doing it when you're not ready. So like that was like one moment that like maybe like realized that.
Interesting. So it's like preparing for the role that you want to transition to.
I mean, I grew like so much like stronger because I knew that like if I overcame that, I can like overcome anything.
Yeah.
So like like I guess like I became like stronger mentally. Also like I learned how to like be independent and like know like how to vouch for myself, because like yes, people are there for you, but if you don't want help, people can't help you.
I must say, living alone here, doing a lot of coursework, a lot of personal stuff, and making sure I'm not missing on my deadlines, and at the same time I'm overcoming the loneliness, missing the homesick, and at the same time coping up with other team members in the class and getting rid of the other stuff which I had in my head from last 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, as long as the ball is rolling, it's everything for me.
Just have to think about how it's going to make you a better person in the end. Like, it'll always hurt. Growth is never easy. Like, change is never easy. But you have to think about how much stronger you're going to be in the end when you just sit with it, you know?
And anyone going through a similar situation or hardship, they just got a 0 or something like that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give that person?
My advice would be, it's not the end of the world. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. You know, it's going to be okay, but you just need to put in a little extra work the next time. Maybe like visit a professor, go to office hours, or seek support from other people in your life. Never be afraid to ask for help.
Like, there's no positive.
No, that's okay. Yeah. What positives could come from that? What could you learn from it?
Don't be shy. Just if you want to talk to them, talk to them. If you feel like that you're your friend, they can be your friend. If they're cool, just get it. That's it. Go through it.
What do you think the shyness comes from? What do you think it is?
I feel like if you have like background like me, I speak like multiple languages. So like English is not my first language. It's kind of really hard sometimes to communicate with other people. So that'll make it a little bit shy, but
It sounds like it's like kind of the cultural thing.
yeah.
When you meet like people from the States or whatever and kind of communicating, getting to them when you have different backgrounds.
Yeah, for me, like especially to speak like to my culture people, it's easy for me instead of talking to people like new peoples, like different cultures. I feel like it's the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm understanding correctly, it's like when you're here, that barrier kind of leaves you feeling a little shy or small. Is that what you say?
Yeah, it's not about getting shy. No one's gonna judge you. Even if you talk to someone here, go there, in 10 minutes, they're gonna forget what you said. So just like, you have to put positive value in your mind.
And anyone who's going through something similar that you went through, what advice would you give that person now?
Stay hard, just keep pushing, keep going, don't give up.
Keep working on yourself, and just keep working on yourself.
Always be brave. And if there's certain things that a lot of people don't agree with, just follow your heart and go with your own beliefs.
I would say just take it day by day, talk to people that you know, friends, family, anyone in your field. I would just say like think about like how you would feel if like you were doing that choice, whether it's like joining something, moving, leaving school. Just like take it day by day and just like go through the motions of like how would you feel doing that choice, and just realize that like even if something good or bad may happen, at least you did it, and that at least like you learn from that experience. So I would just say like give it day by day and just like don't mull over it.
Don't feel bad for asking for help, because I did, and it don't like it's okay to not be okay. Like it is okay, because we at some point all deal with like shitty like mental health. It is like that's okay. Like it's okay to like ask for help.
Be strong, always work for yourself and your family. And just think about the situation, what made you come here, and it will ignite your energy.
It's not the end of the world. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. It's going to be okay, but you just need to put in a little extra work the next time. Maybe like visit a professor, go to office hours, or seek support from other people in your life. Never be afraid to ask for help.
As you're going through and questioning, like things that you've been through, I think it's so important to get to the root of it. And I realized that as I was doing these interviews in particular, because it's easy to give like a surface level answer, I'm just going through it or whatever. But really seeing as to why it is. This is a tough thing to do, because you're putting awareness on parts of yourself that you don't normally see or look at. But always just looking to get at the root of it. You're not always going to be perfect, but knowing that there is a way to, if you're facing something, the ultimate, the heart of it, the emotional inspiration that can come from getting through it, it's there. But like I mentioned before, having the belief that you can find it is the heart of it all. It's not about actually getting to the end. It's corny to say it, but it's the journey and not the destination getting there. So keeping that in mind and knowing that no matter where you're in, like what situation you're getting fucked with, there's a way to work through it. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, and any thoughts that may have come up, I strongly encourage you to drop in the comments below to promote discussion. As this discussion, these conversations, they never end, they keep going. And they get empowered through your voice as you share it, even if something as small as a comment. With great power and great responsibility always, Joe.